What's going on, everybody? Appreciate you for tuning in. We are back with another edition of the Passion and Precision podcast. Obviously, I'm joined with my co host here, Jory from Jory Sports Stories. You guys know. So, Jory, how are you doing tonight?
Uh, it's been a week, but can't complain. I'm very excited about our show tonight.
Yeah, and look, the reason for her excitement, just to let you all know, we have a new segment that we're gonna debut on here. We're excited for the topics, and because of that, we always want to hear from you based off of everything that we talk about. Let us know in the chat your opinions on it, because obviously we love the back and forth with you all, and yeah, let's just have some fun with it. So we will talk some NBA tonight, and we'll talk NFL, and like I said, special segment at the end of the show that is somewhat themed for this time of the year. So definitely make sure you stick around for that. But let's go ahead and jump into these topics. So first off, we have NBA headlines. The NBA season is kicking off. Christmas Day is usually that point where you really start looking at where the NBA is, what's going on, which teams are underperforming, overperforming, all that good stuff. But we also have some kind of rumors that are out there that we definitely want to talk about. But before we even get to the rumors, we do have to talk about something that happened not too long ago as we came on here. But Mike Brown, coach of the Sacramento Kings, is fired today. So, asking you on the chat, you agree with the move, you disagree with the move, but um, he's been there. This was his third season in Sacramento. First year he gets there, Sacramento makes that jump to three seed. Seems like there's a lot of promise in Sacramento. But then the following year, last year, they were ninth in the West, lost in the play-in tournament, missed the playoffs. And then this year, it's been another dive down to 12th in the West, seemingly another season without playoffs. And the Kings decide to move on from him. We don't know, I guess, who's rumored to be in line for that job. We don't know what Sacramento's timeline is with filling the job necessarily, but seeing this news, Jory, like, what was your first impression? Do you agree with Sacramento here and firing him, or you disagree with the timing or validity to it?
This is weird talking about a coach getting fired like this before the All Star break.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you look at other situations in the NBA, Sacramento probably wouldn't be the one you would think of would make this move, but yeah,
I'm like, I mean, I get it, but the way they did it is horrendous. You don't let a man run a practice, go to the media, you're about to leave 15, you're getting ready to get on the plane to go to LA.
hmm
15 minutes before that, you fire him. Really? They did him dirty. If they knew they were going to fire him, the decency, they should have let him coach that game. He already prepared for it.
yeah. No, I mean, because I agree to do it that way. That's what bad organizations would do. Pick the most inopportune time to make a decision like this. Because I agree with you. You run practice and everything. Like, just let them coach the game. Like, if you want to use the Laker game as your final straw for them, then fine. But to do it like this, yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense. But yeah, continue.
Like, what type of message does that send that locker room? You think they're going to compete? Well, they probably are. You think they're going to have a heart to compete?
Probably not.
Like, knowing that they inadvertently just got their coach fired?
Yeah.
What have they done to that team since he went to 13 and since they went to the third seed? What have they done with it? Have they added pieces, made the right moves necessary to make a jump? Or is he still working with a stagnant team?
Yeah. It's not I mean, I know Anthony said the team is too talented to be this bad. If you look at that roster, it's De'Aaron Fox, it's Sabonis, and you're relying on Malik Monk as your um, kind of microwave scorer off the bench. But outside of that, like what else do you really have? You got Alex Len, Trey Lyles. I think a lot of those pieces are just pieces and not necessarily they're not necessarily like a contending roster. So Sacramento made it to the third seed. They probably should have capitalized on that and made some moves that would have worked. I mean, they did do the DeMar DeRozan move this past
But that
offseason.
wasn't the right move.
Right. I mean, he's 35, 36 years old. Like, that move didn't really move the needle for me, but hey, this is where we are with them now.
Right, that was not the right move. Somebody like DeMar DeRozan is ready to win now. Sacramento has never been win now ready.
Right.
Like Anthony, like you said, if they were going to fire the man, they should have fired him right after that other game, not right before this one. The timing is terrible, and you mess with the psyche of your team when you do BS like this.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And look, there's a good chance they have this game with the Lakers, and it could get ugly because a lot of players, like you said, Jordan, will be looking around like, are we about to go through wholesale changes? Who's going to be the interim coach? Who are they thinking about bringing in as a full time coach? Will any of us have a say in that? Are we completely forgetting a couple of years ago we were one of the top teams in the West? Does ownership not believe in us anymore? Like, there's a lot of things that can come up in that locker room. So they're going to have to make sure whoever they pick as the interim coach is a guy that has connections with these players to keep them together long enough before they get the next head coach. That next head coach hiring has to be a guy that's going to, I guess, instill some confidence in this group that they can get back to being a not necessarily a 3 seed anymore, but at least a playoff team. The drop in 2 years from 3 seed to completely outside of a playing picture is kind of crazy. And Mike Brown's also a guy who won Coach of the Year 2 years ago. So
Exactly. Like, are we just going to sit here and blame the coach?
Yeah.
When the front office hasn't necessarily helped the man out?
Right.
The Pelicans are a completely different story.
So I will say, John, because I see you asked about the Knicks are for real, Bucks are magic. I would say hang on, because after we do our headlines, we do have something we're introducing tonight, which will answer some of those questions. So we will revisit these. I mean, you keep throwing them in there for sure, but we'll revisit these when we get to that segment. Don't think we're not answering your comments on purpose. It'll fit more here in a little bit. John did say if anyone needs firing, it should be Raptors head coach Darko.
Raptors need to fire the owner and the front office.
Yeah, but Darko's a guy that he seems like he's more in terms of making headlines when he goes off on refs and stuff. That's the only thing I know about him is that he has a streak in him where that switch gets flipped and he starts going crazy.
Like, I recently had the misfortune of watching Raptors highlights for an episode of George Sports Stories I got coming up. Shameless plug. Mm-hmm. But I was miserable. I'm like, what is this? This team is This team is not together at all. There's no cohesion.
Mm-hmm.
Is defense optional? Well, and all they want to do is run around and shoot threes.
Yes. Yeah. The Raptors, they won the title with Kawhi, and I get that that was a highlight of their existence.
Existence.
But following that, the end of Nick Nurse's tenure, when you're running out a starting lineup of Fred Van Vliet and a bunch of 6'9" guys, to then transition from that to like Siakam being your default point guard and all this kind of weird stuff. Yeah, the Raptors are a team that kind of needs a philosophy switch. I assume that's why they brought Darko in, but it's just until they start really making changes to that roster, I don't understand what the Raptors think they are.
Like with the Raptors, I'm like, is there a variety on this roster, or is this just a group of guys that do the same stuff? What is going on?
Well, first thing is Scotty Barnes is like their best player. Fine. Problem is he's not a number one guy in the NBA. He needs to be probably your number 3 if you're a legit contending team. Then the problem is, what other big name guys are they going to get up to Toronto? Like, what's the draw to Toronto?
Drake.
Well, I mean, after the year he's had with
I don't
Kendrick,
think so.
I don't know if that's a draw anymore. But like, if that's your biggest draw, is Drake, that's not enough. Because we also know Drake will change allegiances real quick. Because I've seen him pop up at Heat playoff games. I've seen him pop up in other places. Like, well, let's be real. Drake goes wherever cameras are and does his stuff. So, yeah, Toronto has to, make some serious changes. People like Brian Keefe still have a job, which is crazy. I mean, look, the Kings have always been that team in California that nobody really pays attention to, especially once, Chris Webber, Mike Bibby, Jason Williams, once that group left, Sacramento was just that team in California that was just there. They're out there in the middle of nowhere because most of the California teams are Southern California. Sacramento's Northern California. Like, nobody's paying attention. So they are always trying to fight for some type of relevancy. Stuff like this is why people won't necessarily get invested with them. Because I get you want to fire him, sure. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's just the way that you do it. It's like, even if you're a Kings fan, sit well with you.
So. Right.
All right. Let's head up to our next headline. Our favorite team to talk about, the Washington Wizards. A lot of rumors circulating. Jordan Poole, Kyle Kuzma, Valanciunas could be out in Washington. I guess the real question here is why? And if you had a team, these 3 guys are available, like, how would you rank the desire to acquire these 3 from Washington, knowing the state of the Wizards franchise right now? Who
the only one I'm taking is Valanciunas.
Okay.
That's the only one I'm taking.
Okay.
Why would I want somebody who's going to wreck my offense, do exactly whatever the hell he want to do, and run it up and down the court and shoot threes? You don't try on defense. Why would I want to trade for that? I heard the rumor. I read it about it on The Athletic that Denver is interested. Y'all want to make Mike Malone quit? Do that.
So, yeah, because Denver supposedly is interested in Poole and Valanciunas.
I mean, Valanciunas, I get. Valanciunas.
Yes, because you need a backup big for Jokic, and DeAndre Jordan is
a nothing.
He's a mascot at this point. To be honest with you, I kind of don't hate Poole in Denver, but Mike Malone and Denver have to tell Jordan Poole from the jump, you are not the star of this team. You are coming off the bench. I don't care how much you think you're
Whine
some
and
it
cry.
guy. You are going to be our sixth man. We're going to guarantee you this every night. So you'll still play your minutes, but you're not going to start because you're not a starter. If he can get on board with that, he should want to be in Denver. Because Jokic is not a selfish player. He'll get you shots as long as you flow with the offense and everything like that. I'm gonna say I'm not gonna hate the fit of Denver for Jordan Poole, but I'm like you. If I'm acquiring Jordan Poole, it's like buyer beware, because Jordan Poole's biggest problem is his mentality. Anthony put Kuzma to the Kings.
Kyle Kuzma's going to do whatever Kyle Kuzma wants to do anyway. Flashes here, there, and then a whole bunch of nothing.
Yeah.
But that's he's such an unserious player.
Yeah.
So that's the perfect franchise for him.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like every year we go through this with Kyle Kuzma because I think people still look at Kuzma as what's he like 6'9". He can create a little for himself. I think defensively, when he's switched on, he
Which is
can
not
play
often.
some defense. Problem is, a place like Washington, why would he ever switch on? They're not serious about winning. So he goes through his stuff. It seems like he only really makes news for his outfits. Like, if you get him in a situation where you're serious about basketball, maybe. But I don't know if Sacramento would be that place. But maybe with like I said, the next coach, I could see it. At least for Sacramento, it would be doing something. Like, can they at least try that? John says, is Brogdon done? Hasn't been the same in a while.
No, he's in Washington. Washington does that to you.
I mean, but it's kind of been downhill for Brogdon since he had the Celtics run. Didn't he win Sixth Man of the Year with the Celtics? And then I think he had this shoulder injury. And that playoff run, he could barely hit the rim on his perimeter shots. And he's been to Portland, which is purgatory, and now Washington.
Yeah,
I think
done.
like you're saying, you get Brogdon to a different situation, you're probably thinking about him differently. What about Poole to the Nets or Bulls?
If I'm the Bulls, I'm starting completely over.
Yes.
I don't want an egotistical maniac and Jordan Poole running around.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm the Nets, package up a couple of picks with him. Sure.
Yeah.
He'll be more available than Ben Simmons.
Which, speaking of Ben Simmons, the game the other night, where it was late in the game, Ben Simmons has it out by the 3-point line, and the Bucks ran a double team on him. Might have been the wildest decision I'd ever seen on a basketball court. What is Ben Simmons doing out there that scares you that you have to get the ball out of his hands? They obviously gave up a wide open three that led to a loss, but I thought that was crazy. I agree. If you're going to put Poole in Brooklyn, I can't have Poole, Cam Thomas, and I think it's mainly Poole and Cam Thomas because those are two guys who love jacking up shots. I mean, you put the two of them on the court at the same time, like it might get ugly. But I mean, I guess for those two teams, like it wouldn't necessarily change much about them, but I guess I wouldn't hate it for either one. But I agree with you. For the Bulls, they got to do something. Make Poole a sixth man. Yeah, a lot of teams would make Poole a sixth man. Problem is, Poole doesn't think he's a sixth man. Kind of part of the reason why he's not still in Golden State. Although Golden
That's
State
why
did
he
make the
did.
decision to pay him like he was better than he is, and that went to his head, and we all know how that went.
Yeah, he got cocky. Draymond punched him, and
Right. Because, hey, you want to get cocky around Draymond Green, you do so at your own peril because that guy is crazy.
unhinged.
Yeah, we'll say that. I don't want to call him crazy. He's unhinged. Yeah. All right, so we'll see. I mean, we once you get past Christmas, like that's where trade rumors start happening. We'll see what Washington decides to do with their lot. But let's move on to our next bit of headlines. Jimmy Butler. Now, there was talk about Jimmy Butler wanting out. I think he labeled the Warriors and
The Suns.
the Suns as his dream teams, which to think of a Phoenix move for Jimmy Butler would just probably make your head spin. But the Warriors, I guess, was interesting. But now we have Pat Riley saying nothing to the rumors. We're not trading him, all this stuff. Question is, do you believe Pat Riley? Or is he just trying to calm the waters while he's working behind the scenes?
Pat, look, I know usually you're a man of your word, but you are telling stories right now. You are telling stories. I know you want him out of there.
Especially based off of last year when Butler was talking while he was injured, talking about how if I played, we would have made so and so. And Pat Riley was quick to come out and be like, you got to be on the court to start talking. Like, it seemed like that was kind of Pat Riley at his end with Jimmy Butler. But yeah, continue on.
All right, I think this is a ploy by Jimmy Butler's team to try to get out of Miami. Putting all this out and then getting mad at Shams.
Yeah.
Like, they look real childish over there. Because now more people are picking up that he wants out of there, and the two teams definitively, and you make yourself look stupid. And now Pat Riley like, hold on, wait a minute. You don't control things here. I do. Making trade demands. He said that to calm the fire down. But deep down inside, he'd trade him for a pack of crackers. He wants him out of there. Because now he's still hurt. Why is he's probably pissed that all of this is coming out and he still ain't even on the court.
Yep. Remember,
yeah, he's ready to get rid of him.
Pat Riley's the man who told LeBron no. Like, Pat Riley is not about that players running things when he's around. So if Butler wants to try to do it on his terms, Pat Riley's not the guy to try that with.
Yeah, and you're not playing, and all of this is coming out. Yeah, he wants him out. He's just lying to save face.
Yeah, I agree with that. So I guess we'll take this from the other side of this. If Butler is available, and you're the Warriors or the Suns, do you want Jimmy Butler? Does Jimmy Butler affect either of those teams in any way that you think if one of them gets him, they're all of a sudden contenders?
Going on with the young, they got a perfect mix of youth and veterans going on over there. They figured out how to put Kuminga and Draymond on the same court. They figured that out. Steph is going to be Steph, even though he's hurt.
Yeah.
Don't sit here and insert Jimmy Butler.
Yeah. I mean, I heard a wild trade proposal, I think on ESPN. They were saying, like, if I'm the Warriors, I trade Kuminga, I trade picks, I trade whoever I need to get Jimmy Butler. My first impression was like, why? What 2024, 35-year-old Jimmy Butler, what does he do for any team that makes you think they're all of a sudden going to win a title? I think Butler's past that. I thought the bubble year probably was his best opportunity. We saw how that went. The year where they were the 8 seed, knocked off the Celtics and everything, went to the finals. That was obviously their second best chance. But now, as they currently are, Butler's a guy who's going to be probably 50 games worth you'll get out of him. In those 50 games, he'll only probably really try 20 for 4 quarters. The other ones he'll pick and choose his spots. And if I'm Golden State, I'm not giving up Kuminga or anything of use for my future for a
For
year,
that.
maybe 2 of Jimmy Butler, because I'll tell you right now, you'll still won't win a title if you acquire Jimmy Butler. And how does Jimmy Butler fit a Warriors offense that's based off of Curry's movement off the ball? Jimmy Butler's not doing all that. Jimmy Butler plays a style where you give it to him, get out of his way, and he tries to bait defenders into fouls. How is that going to play in Steve Kerr's system? I think it'd be a terrible fit.
It
So,
would be a terrible fit.
Yeah,
All he's
so
gonna do is
I
teach
don't
the
get this
youngest how to.
obsession. I don't get the obsession with getting Butler to a situation to win Butler a ring. I don't get that at all.
Speaking of this comment about De'Aaron Fox, I would
Yes.
trade D'Angelo Russell, Cam Reddish, and Gabe Vincent for De'Aaron Fox. You get 2 players for the price of 1. Look, Rui has his days, but I like what he brings on the court. He stays.
I mean, well, so if I'm John, I think the proposal is probably what Sacramento would ask for. Because Russell obviously gives you your point guard replacement. And Rui gives you another big along with Sabonis, which I think is part of their problem, is that outside of Sabonis, what big do the Kings have that makes that does anything? So I think John's proposal makes a lot of sense. I agree with
I'm not
you,
doing it.
but I agree with you as a Laker fan. Why would I trade Rui necessarily? Now, I mean, I guess because to get a guy like Fox, you're gonna have to give up something, and
Trade
yeah,
Bronny.
well, we know that's not happening with Papa James there. And here's the crazy thing, and Jory, not to take a shot at your team, De'Aaron Fox is a guy they could have had, but they bought in to the ball
On LeBron.
Well, that was the
the
Lonzo Ball
Lonzo
year.
thing.
Yes. And to think that year, Fox, Tatum were there. Because I heard that's the other thing. I heard Magic try to explain that, and I was like, bro, you are not helping yourself. Because he said,
I wanted to curse out
Well, did you
Magic
hear him?
so bad.
You heard him?
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, what are you talking about? He's like, oh, we couldn't take Tatum because we had Julius Randle and Larry Nance. Bruh. No, don't say that
No.
in the public. Do not say that in the public. And then he's like, we needed a point guard. And we thought Lonzo Ball was better. Like, all right, Magic. That's why you're not running a team anymore. John said send Butler to the Bucks. I mean,
you want to get Doc fired? Do that.
Nothing like an old Bucks team bringing in an old Butler. The Bucks need athleticism. I don't think Butler works there either, but it would kind of be a Milwaukee move. Not gonna lie. Okay. Also, appreciate y'all in the chat. Like, love this from y'all. Let's keep the energy going. So now, other observations or headlines. And Jory, I will turn to you for this one. I know you had a couple other ones.
I know Luka's going to be out for at least a month with a calf injury. Again, newsflash, that kind of determines about the surprise about the Mavericks.
Yes.
The one thing I did want to note is Minnesota, they have absolutely no team chemistry. None. Zilch. And the Randle trade, it's detrimental. Because I'm like, you lose Cat, you lose every sense of continuity y'all got.
Mm-hmm.
Randall doesn't space the floor right. I don't know what happened to DiVincenzo.
I think DiVincenzo is still just butthurt about all the
Being
talk
traded.
about, yeah, all the talk about Villanova, the Villanova group come back together, and he's the one they sent away. I think that's still playing on him. John, this will also factor in to our segment that's coming up. So we will add that one to the list. It's coming up next, so stick around, John.
Speaking of the 76ers, they need consistency. That's another one of my observations. I'm like, yeah, you played well on Christmas. Am I
Mm-hmm.
supposed to disregard everything else?
Right.
Joel,
Mm-hmm.
like, you played well one game. You still have only won 11. Let's calm down. Let's calm down.
Mm-hmm.
And another one, back to Mr. Hair Dye Butler, Mr. Extension Butler.
Mm-hmm.
He should be rejoining the Heat next week. He's not playing in the recent games, but he should be back next week, which was him and all of this contract stuff, not contract stuff, trade talk and destination talk irks me. I'm like, you're not even on the court and you're talking about a trade.
Right. All right. Yeah. So that gets you kind of caught up in what's going on in the NBA. This is obviously something with the NFL season winding down that we will obviously start transitioning more into the NBA, which will kind of match up perfectly as we get closer to the trade deadline. And we'll see how many of these teams actually pull the trigger on some of these players. But now we're going to go to the reason why I said to hang on, John, our fire and ice hoops hierarchy. So what you're looking at here is we've taken all the teams, we've put them in their tiers, and obviously want your opinion on this. So we have our extinguished dreams. Look at those as teams that it's a lost season, not all the hope. And this is obviously going at it from right now. Some of this will change. So this will be something that you will see probably every couple of weeks here on the show as we kind of shift these teams all around. But just let you know, extinguished dreams, kind of no hope. Lukewarm hope, that's like playing teams or teams that might be in the
Fringe.
top six, but it's like we know they're not really going to have a deep playoff run. Smoldering hopefuls are your teams that are probably towards the top of each conference, and teams that, maybe they make a move here or there, certain things break a certain way, they could make a deep run. And I think with a lot of these teams, maybe a sneaky surprise finals appearance could possibly happen for them, depending on how things work. Inferno tier are like those are our contenders right now, no questions asked. Like that's it. So, so I guess if you're watching and there's a team that you do want us to highlight, we can do that. So with that, let's go back to John here. Are the Knicks for real? Bucks or Magic, or do we think the Bucks or Magic can make a deep run? And we actually have those three teams literally on the same line, and so they're smoldering hopeful. I guess is there one of those teams you want to tackle, Jory, as to I guess what's keeping them from the Inferno tier?
I don't trust the Knicks. Period. They look good.
Mm-hmm.
Carl Anthony Towns is spotty. He can play. He can give you 32 one night, and he's gonna give you 10 the next.
Mm-hmm.
Can he stack back-to-back good performances? Absolutely not. The Magic are hurt.
Yeah.
So the fact that they're still staying afloat is a surprise to me. Because they are hurt. Because didn't they just lose Mo Wagner for the year?
Was he out for the year? Hold on. Let me double check that.
I know he's out, but I'm not
Yeah.
completely sure for the year. But I thought I read somewhere it was out for the year. But he's hurt.
Yeah, he's dealing with the. Yes, you're right. He's about to have season-ending knee surgery. So yeah, that's
So the
that's a
Wagner
big hit.
brothers are done for the year. Paolo is done for the year. I don't trust Orlando to keep this up. Because they're going to face better teams.
Mm-hmm.
And your three, they still have talent. But they're just missing too much. Now the Bucks, the Bucks, when I watch them, I'm like, I like what they've been doing so far. Can they keep it up?
Yeah.
They still need to do something at the trade deadline. Do something. Get younger somehow. Because sometimes watching them run up and down the court is like a labor.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of agree with you, all of them. The Knicks, I think they'll be like last year. They'll be a team that wins games in the regular season, but push comes to shove in the playoffs. I don't know if I can buy them beating a Celtics team in a 7-game series. I don't even know if I would buy them. Now, Milwaukee makes the move I think that they should. I don't know if I'd buy them against them.
Right.
The Cavs, I feel like them and the Cavs are kind of the same boat. So if they met in a series, I think it'd be a toss-up. The Bucks, like you said, I think they need to make a move to get younger, faster, more athletic on the wing, and more reliable off the bench. The Magic, I still think it's too early for them. They still have a lot of young pieces, which makes you optimistic for the future. Not too far in the future, because at some point these young guys have to kind of put it together. But I still think they need a little tinkering with their roster.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. What was the next one? Oh, here we go. 76ers ceiling. Because I think this goes to, like you said, Sixers win on Christmas against the Celtics, and now a lot of people are looking at the Sixers as, a team to watch out for. Could they go on a run? All this kind of stuff. So I think their ceiling is kind of what it's been. One and done, maybe second round exit. I just don't know. As long as Embiid's going to be their number one option, I don't think they win anything of significance. Maybe that's just me. I mean, how do you feel about them, Jory?
Second round in it. That's the ceiling. I mean, that's as far as they go. They haven't beat it. That's the ceiling. Because if they were capable of getting further than that, they would have done it already.
Yeah. Damien. What's up, Damien? Appreciate you tuning in. I don't trust the 76ers in the playoffs. So, Damien, here we go. Says Pistons and lukewarm is a joke. Mind you, Damien's a Bulls fan. We know Bulls Pistons fans, they don't see eye to eye. So I guess explanation for the Pistons being in lukewarm.
I mean, I like the way they've been playing. Granted, yes, I just saw them beat my Lakers. But they've been playing better than they've been playing last year. Look, their record's already better than it was last year.
Yes. And
Cade
Cunningham's playing like an all-star.
They have the talent, and they have the talent that works well together.
Mm-hmm.
They just need to figure it out. Now, the Bulls, on the other hand, they need to start over.
I feel like Damien's the type that I feel like Damien is very hard on his team, so I feel like he's probably done with his.
You know that, and he knows that. They need to start over. Zach LaVine was a bad move to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
Lonzo, LOL.
Yeah, they need to change their approach with Lonzo. Like they keep wanting to
Vucevic.
sell like if Lonzo comes back healthy, he's gonna be like, no, you can't do that. They traded DeRozan, rip that band-aid all the way off and move with
Yeah.
me.
Vucevic, you can get some pieces for him.
He's part of that band-aid coming off. You got to move
Yeah.
Vucevic too. All right.
Like, if you keep somebody, you maybe keep Kobe White, because I've liked what I've seen from him the past
Mm-hmm.
few seasons. You maybe keep him, and the rest of them can go.
Well, Damian's been done since MJ left, so
Well, they haven't given him anything to cheer for.
Derrick Rose was a tease, and then the knee
That,
injury happened.
yeah, that was a tease.
Yeah. Okay. John, where do we have Denver? Lukewarm. Yeah. Do we?
Are they even on there? Did I forget to put them on there? I did.
Oh, that's probably why he said where you got Denver. Okay, so I guess look, here's the question: where do we have Denver?
I'm putting them at lukewarm.
Yeah.
Not just because I hate them and I don't like Mike Malone, but
Right.
it's because the non-Jokic minutes are too big of a factor. They're too big of a factor because every team, you got to rest your star. He can't carry you for 48 freaking minutes
Mm-hmm.
without a break. And in those few minutes, whatever a 10-point lead in about 6 minutes without Jokic will turn into a 20-point deficit.
Mm-hmm.
So
So if they made kind of the move we teased and brought in the Valanciunas, and if that means you have to take Poole on as well, would a move like that move them up for you, or keep them as lukewarm?
I'd have to see it how it worked.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah. Okay.
Because on paper, it should move them up. But
Mm-hmm.
Jordan Poole is. Can you imagine him and Westbrook on the court at the same time?
I did not even think about that. Because if you're bringing them in as a 6-man, that means your bench unit, you're going to have Westbrook, Poole out there on the court together. To be honest with you, it may I don't know. I kind of want to see it now.
It'll be entertaining.
That's actually a good question. How would Jordan Poole play with Russell Westbrook? I'm kind of rooting for it to happen now. Damien asks, here we go. With the Kings firing Mike Brown, which you talked about a little earlier, do we think De'Aaron Fox is on the trade block? What team do we see hiring Mike Brown?
I'll take him as an assistant.
That last part. I feel like that's where he pops up. I could see him on somebody's bench soon. I don't know necessarily head coach, because now, he was fired in Cleveland. Whether or not you thought it was valid or not, that happened. And now he's been fired Sacramento. And his kind of bigger successes were as an assistant under Popovich and Kerr. So yeah, maybe he pops up as an assistant next.
And
in terms of where, I don't know.
And I do think De'Aaron Fox is on the trade block because the Kings are an unserious franchise, and unserious franchises do stupid stuff like what they're doing right now.
Right. Like, unless there's some locker room stuff, and Fox has made it known that he wants out. I don't see why they kind of just want to move him like this, but this is what, like you said, this is what teams do that don't really have a lot of direction. Although Damien does say, oh, hold on, Mike Brown to Chicago. Okay, wouldn't hate that. John says DeRozan will be out the door too. I mean, yeah, if you're gonna move De'Aaron Fox, go all the way. Move DeRozan somewhere else. I mean, I guess the question would be, would they move Sabonis? I don't know, or is this a Fox and Sabonis together don't work, but we think Sabonis with a different co-star works better than Sabonis and Fox? Maybe that's the thinking here.
I think they work well together. I think it's everybody else.
I do too, but if these rumors are true, it seems like Sacramento might be at their limit with De'Aaron Fox. I think it would be a mistake, and I believe you would feel the same way. But it's Sacramento. All right. Like I said, we'll definitely be reintroducing our hierarchy in a couple of weeks or so. So you'll probably see a lot of movement with this because, one, with the Luka injury, we'll see how the Mavericks play over the course of the couple of weeks and whether we keep them there, move them up, move them down. I guess Miami, Butler comes back. We'll see if the Sixers can keep this run going. We'll see. Like, there's a lot of teams that, there's a lot that can go right or wrong for them in the next couple of weeks. We'll see. I don't see the Kings trading DeRozan only because they paid him a lot of money. I mean, that's a good point. I mean, it might turn into, move DeRozan for probably somebody else's high-priced guy that probably doesn't work for them. Which moves like that don't necessarily do much in terms of, like, for me. But, teams do it all the time. All right. Let's keep this going with, hold on, who can clinch? So now we're into the NFL, and we're looking at week 17. There are a few teams that have scenarios in place that could lead to them clinching playoff spots. Oh, John had one last thing before we moved on. I could see the Spurs hire Mike Brown if Pop retires this year. It definitely does seem like the Spurs will hand that over to somebody who's had some experience there. To be honest with you, I thought that was going to be a Becky Hammon thing when Pop retired, but she's obviously having so much success right now in the WNBA. Doesn't mean she's out of the question for it, but I agree with you, John. I could see it somebody who has spent time under Pop. Pop will definitely have a name, will have a say in who replaces him when he's ready to retire. I definitely agree with that. So maybe that is the spot where we see Mike Brown pop up. Yes, in terms of clinching now, I will say teams that are involved with clinching scenarios, there's a few. AFC, we're basically down to the last two wildcard spots up for grabs. And obviously the two teams with the lead in that are the Broncos and the Chargers. For those two teams, it's basically winning you're in. Like, it's very simple on the AFC side. And obviously when we get to our picks, we'll see if any of those games come up. But yeah, very simple. Because both those teams have basically 2-game leads on the teams that are outside. So after this week, we could literally see AFC playoff field set with the final week being about positioning. Basically, everybody trying to get to that 5 seed if you're a wild card team to face a Houston team that's
backing into the playoffs.
Pretty much. I mean, you lose 31-2 on Christmas, like you're not going in with a lot of momentum. And then the NFC is a little bit more interesting. And I don't know, Jory, if you want to run through these in the NFC.
Listen,
all right,
I got these on paper.
So those of you listening, like, you got to get ready for this because there's a lot of oddities in the NFC. All right, go ahead, Jory.
So let's go with the simple stuff. The Eagles clinched the NFC East with a win or a Commanders loss. The Falcons clinched the NFC South with a win and a Buccaneers loss. Mind you, only one team from the NFC South is getting in. The Rams clinched the West. Here we go. The easiest solution is for them to win and the Seahawks lose. Or the Rams win, and if they both win, then somebody has to claim the strength of victory tiebreaker, which as of right now would be the Rams. That means they're going to go through the whole schedule and figure out who had a better quality win. And if both the Buccaneers and the Falcons lose, it's really going to come down to Week 18.
Mm-hmm.
And the Commanders clinch with a win or the Buccaneers loss. So I'm telling you, there will be a lot of people rooting for the Panthers.
Yes. Absolutely. I mean, look, this is what you wanted as the NFL, especially next week with it being all division. Well, actually, basically, these last 2 weeks are pretty much all division games. There are some cross-division matchups, but this is what you wanted. End of the year, drama. And look, if you're the NFL and if you're one of those who think it's fixed, you would love a situation where Week 18, the Rams and the Seahawks meet Week 18. You would love for that matchup to be for the division and the playoff spot. You would love to see Falcons Bucks come down to next week with the Falcons needing to beat the Panthers and the Bucks needing to beat the Saints in order to get in. So, we'll see which one of these teams, takes advantage of their opportunity this week, and maybe which ones slip up under the pressure and kind of give it to their adversary. But we are definitely in an exciting time in the NFL. The playoffs are right around the corner. I'll argue that wild card weekend in the NFL playoffs, one of the best weekends on the sports calendar.
Oh,
obviously the
AFC North is not situated. So whoever wins the AFC North, the loser, the second place is going to get that wild card spot. You could thank the Pittsburgh fans.
And right now, seemingly that coveted 5th seed.
The Pittsburgh fans can really pat themselves on the back for that one. Because you had it.
Yeah. Yep. But now, look, the Ravens do have to take advantage of the fact that they are now controlling their destiny in the AFC North. Don't want to sit there and blow it and have Pittsburgh regain it. Or maybe you do. Because like I said, it seems like the loser of that division will probably be the 5 seed, although it's not set in stone. And I think that everybody's going to want to get to Houston.
Mm-hmm.
John says, "You think the Colts can get in? They have 2 easy games left."
Absolutely not. They need a lot of help. Listen.
Yes.
Denver clinches with a win, period. That means Cincinnati will be eliminated. Chargers win will clinch with a win, and the Dolphins or Dolphins and Colts loss. So no matter what the Colts do, they do not control their destiny.
Yeah.
They are relying on somebody beating on the Patriots beating the Chargers and the Bengals defense
Yep.
actually knuckling up for once.
Mm-hmm. And then they need it all again next week.
Yep. And they need to win.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I think at this point in the year, if you don't control your own destiny, I think it's tough to necessarily consider your options getting in because we are down to 2 games left. Like if we were like 3 weeks ago, they had 5 games left in this situation, I'd say, maybe they have a shot. I find it hard to believe that those two teams ahead of them lose both games and the Colts win both to get in. But stranger things have happened. So I'd probably give it like a 2% chance.
I'd give it less than that.
And okay. Damien, clearly not a fan of the Seahawks.
He's a Bears fan, ain't he?
That's fair. Yes.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, they did. Yeah. Cause at first I was like, why are you so triggered by the Seahawks? But then, yeah, that Thursday night barn burner. I mean, think about that. 2024 in a league of offense, we had a Thursday night football game end 6-3.
I stopped watching at halftime. I literally turned on YouTube.
I mean, it was not great football. It kind of broke up the streak of Thursday night games that had been pretty interesting. But Seahawks keep their season alive. They do that. Give them that.
Bears defense is too wishy-washy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, what?
And also, every game, I keep hearing Tyreek Stevenson, and it's literally for all the wrong reasons.
Why every time every week his name gets attached to something? Like, do you not know how to shut up and do your job? I get it.
Yeah.
You got to play with a little edge. But have you not realized that when you say something to other people, usually it don't go in for you? Be quiet.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Let's keep it moving with our, hold on a second, picks. Oh, being a Chicago fan sucks. Yeah. Yeah, I was trying to think who gives you hope. I don't even know. The Cubs, maybe. Unless you're a White Sox fan, which if you are, Damien, more power to you.
They have fans.
I actually kind of want to know that now. Damien, are you a Cubs or a White Sox fan? And don't just say the Cubs because they're doing a little bit better. If you're a White Sox fan, be proud of that. I guess. That's my light just fell. Great. Hold on, let me fix that real quick. As Damien ponders his Chicago fandom.
I forgot what the record was, but clearly, I think I went 2-1. Or did I go 1-2?
You went 1-3. I think the one that you got was Commanders over the Saints. Hold on, I have it written down. Hold on. Yeah. Commanders over the Saints you got. Panthers fell short against the Cowboys. The Lions lost to the Bills by 2, so you're close on that one. Oh, he's a White Sox fan. Damien, I got respect for you. And Titans came up short against the Bengals. You went 1-3. I went 2-2 that week. I only gained a game on you. So you're still in good position. Oh, Drew, I think your picture might be frozen. Yeah. Hold on. All right. I'm sure she'll be right back. So yeah. So this is from 2 weeks ago because we didn't do picks last week. I had Broncos with the Colts, which hit for me. All right, she's back. There we go. Welcome back. Yeah, you had Commanders over the Saints, and your other picks didn't hit. I had the Broncos over the Colts, which hit, Packers over the Seahawks, and then I missed with the Steelers and the Chargers. So looking at that, here's where we are with 2 weeks left. Your 5-game lead is now a 4-game lead. You are 32-28. I am 28-32. So we have another opportunity here to see if I can make up that ground. It's a wide margin to make up in 2 weeks, but I will definitely give it a shot. My thing is kind of just finish over 500. John has a question. Do you think Tank Dell will ever get back? MCL, ACL, LCL, dislocated knee, 2 major injuries, 2 years in a row now. That's a lot. That's a lot.
2026. 2026.
Yeah. I mean, look, his love for football is going to get tested right now because that's a lot to come back from. That's going to be a rehab that's going to test him mentally. And like, I don't necessarily doubt that he will be back, but that's a lot. And that play, I know, they obviously didn't show a lot of replays to show what happened. I unfortunately noticed it when it happened live. I thought I saw something that I was like, is that what that is? But, the way he was down in discomfort, like he knew. So, and I also say, I think that has affected CJ Stroud even still. I didn't like CJ Stroud against Baltimore with his body language, and he were one of the more affected guys when it first happened, which reminded me of the Gordon Hayward injury because the Celtics were affected by that as well. I think Kyrie, who threw the lob to Gordon Hayward, he was like down about it as well. So I think there's a part of CJ Stroud might be blaming himself for the pass. I feel like that's the way he reacted. That's what I feel like. So I feel like somebody in that Texans locker room has to just get to him. And maybe it's Tank Dell. Maybe Tank Dell's the guy to, make an appearance in the locker room or something and galvanize that group. Like that group needs something right now.
It's too late now.
So I hope Tank Dell's back.
It's too late.
I mean, yes, grand scheme of things, it probably is. But they just need something. I don't know. But hopefully Tank Dell's back. He was having a good year when he was on the field. And, with Tank Dell, Stephon Diggs, if you get him back, Nico Collins, it's a scary wide receiver group. But like Jory said, Tank Dell probably doesn't play next year. So 2026, will he put in the work to get back onto the field? We'll see. But yes, looking at our picks, here we go. Here is the schedule for week 17. Hold on. Side note, dude getting a bunch of attention. I think he's a good player, but man, he's having some rookie hiccups catching the ball. Xavier Legette. Y'all ever try raccoon? Yes, because I saw Shannon Sharp went over this whole thing about how to cook raccoon. Have I ever had it? No.
Absolutely not.
Does it surprise me that Shannon's had raccoon? No. Not at all. One thing I learned when I moved to the South, like if you're like from one of the deep country areas, you've probably had raccoon. So it does not surprise me that he knows. Right. I mean, yes. I wasn't saying, I wasn't trying to allude to you necessarily, but yeah, if you find somebody who's from the South, from a town that you probably have never heard of, there's probably a good chance they have tried raccoon. That's what I've learned.
The most exotic you're going to get out of me when it comes to that is frog legs. That's it.
Yeah. Which, I mean, frog legs or raccoon, I don't even know if I'd put them in the same stratosphere. Um, but I guess to your other point, Leggette's had an up and down year. I mean, obviously that game against the Eagles, he makes that catch. Panthers probably win that game. I still think he's going to be a good wide receiver, but it is something to watch whether or not the drops continue for him. But getting into week 17. Um, so with this, try to see how we do this. We do our 3 favorites that we like and an upset. So we have the Chargers traveling cross country as a favorite to face my Patriots. So Saturday we got a triple header. So that's the first game Saturday. Second game Saturday, Broncos traveling to Cincinnati to face a Bengals team favored at home. Holding on to that little shred of playoff hope. You have the Cardinals, recently eliminated from the playoffs, trying to play spoiler against the LA Rams team that's a home favorite, looking to solidify their playoff positioning and potentially win the division this week. You got the Falcons traveling to Landover, Maryland to face the Washington Commanders. Commanders are favorites in that one in what is basically the Dan Quinn Bowl, as Quinn will face his former team as the new coach of the Commanders. We've got Aaron Rodgers' Jets playing out the string, going up to Orchard Park to face the Bills. Bills are the home favorite in this one. Bills are holding on to a little bit of hope of potentially winning the number 1 seed. The Raiders are traveling to New Orleans to face the Saints. The Raiders are a road favorite. Saints will be without Derek Carr. That was made official today. So I guess Rattler makes another start. We'll see. The Colts, once again, another one of those teams, little shred of hope there. Travel to New York to face the Giants as a road favorite. Cowboys are on the road to the Eagles. The Eagles are a home favorite. Eagles are, going to be a playoff team. It's about them with their momentum going into the postseason. The Panthers, looking to play spoiler, head down to Tampa to face the Bucks. The Bucks are our home favorite, but it's a game that they need to win. Well, unless the Falcons lose, then they can lose it. But, the Bucks are looking to win to regain their seat atop the NFC South. Jory's Titans head down to Jacksonville to face the
In
Jags.
the Who Cares
The
Bowl?
Titans are
in the Who Cares Bowl?
Yeah. Look, they are a favorite in this one. We'll see if that comes up as a pick. The Dolphins, the third team with a shred of hope, are going up to Cleveland as a road favorite to face the Browns. I guess it's another DTR start.
Jameis
we'll
is injured.
And then
Jameis is actually injured.
Yeah. The Packers, maybe game of the week here. Packers traveling to Minnesota. Vikings are a home favorite in an NFC North battle where those 3 teams will be in the playoffs. The Packers are trying to improve their position. Vikings are holding out hope of winning the division still.
That's not gonna
so
happen.
We'll see how that one breaks. And then
that's not going to happen.
Hey, they got a chance. They at least have that. The team that they were fighting against, the Lions. Lions are a road favorite heading out to San Francisco to face a Niners team that's banged up and eliminated from the playoffs. So, I guess before you get into yours, Jory, John gave his upsets. Packers over the Vikings, Cowboys over the Eagles, Cardinals over the Rams, and Damien says Kyler Murray got enough COD to be playing now that he got free time.
Yeah, because he did make a Call of Duty throw in that last game. And then had the nerve to sit on pout on the sidelines. I'm like, sir, he looked like he was finna cry.
I mean, yeah.
I'm like, what is with these crybaby quarterbacks? And I say that
he went a couple of weeks where you thought
I got one of them. Will is a meme for crying on the sideline, but his shoulder hurt. I got that part. He had did something to his shoulder. But these crybabies.
Right. Hey, they just want to win that bad, I guess.
I see the puffiness in their cheeks when they be looking at, when they be pouting on the sideline. I see it.
Right. All right. So, Jory, you get the honors of going first. Where are you going with your 3 favorites and your upset?
I know I called this game the Who Cares Bowl, but I'm gonna go pick my Titans. You kind of figured I was going
there. Yeah. All right.
Lions over 49ers.
Okay.
Rams over Cardinals.
Okay.
My upset is going to be Panthers over Buccaneers.
All right. Upset Panthers over Bucks. Could definitely see that happening. The Panthers have been playing really good football. Damien said 49ers, Pats, Giants, upset Packers and Vikings end in a tie. Okay. I mean, look, even though the Bears are eliminated, doesn't mean Damien still won't take his shot at his division mates there. Okay. So you took some good ones. I get that. You know, you gotta keep your lead. You left me with some tough ones, but I think I'll find some winners in here. So I'm gonna go ahead and take. I would take the Commanders over the Falcons. I think the Commanders are the better team. I think even though the Falcons, are back in the NFC South lead, I still think that they are a team. Its confidence is shaky. It's going to be Penix's second start. So if you're the Commanders, you now have tape on Michael Penix. And now we'll see if Penix changes his game to kind of counteract that. So I'll take the Commanders. Damien says Panthers upset sounds interesting.
Spoiler for about 5 weeks now.
Yeah. Since Bryce Young's gotten back in there and, is smiling and everything, like the Panthers are a different, there's a different feel around the Panthers right now.
They just need to get the offensive line together. And some more pieces. And the defense.
Yes. So I think now that I'm assuming Bryce Young's done enough to solidify himself going forward, now they fix everything else, like you said. You go in the draft, you get young wide receivers, whatever, free agency. That'll be the interesting part. What kind of free agents can they get to go there? Because a lot of the free agency stuff's going to be with Tepper and everything, how guys view the hierarchy there. But I think Bryce Young can probably bring some people there. My second game, I'm going to take the Bills over the Jets. Look, the Jets aren't trying to do anything of significance.
They're limping the season.
They're move on to the offseason. Aaron Rodgers has his Netflix stuff that he's probably getting ready to promote. Like, they don't want to sit here and go up to Buffalo. It's probably gonna be terrible weather up there and fight against a team that's clearly better than them. So give me the Bills in that one. Third one, I'll take. I would love to go Bengals on this one, which the Bengals beat the Broncos. That creates a little intrigue between those two teams for Week 18. Mm-hmm. The Broncos do play some good defense.
And the Bengals don't.
Right. Do we put faith in Bo Nix to attack that defense? Bo Nix has played really well here. That's the game I'm torn on. Do I want to take that one? Eagles Cowboys is interesting, but it's NFC East, and wouldn't that be the type of game that the Cowboys, with nothing on the line,
Ruin
win
it.
something?
And so Washington wins the division. Just ruin it. The Cowboys would stand up to do that.
No, I'll take the Eagles. I feel like all else fails, Saquon Barkley probably runs wild in the Cowboys. Yeah, I'll take the Eagles. I mean, CeeDee Lamb's not going to play. Like, come on. Cowboys are ready to end this. John says take the Raiders over the Saints for a pick 'em. Yeah, I think the line on that's like, isn't it like, I think the Raiders are point favorite, maybe like half a point,
That's
something
a
like
nap
that.
game too.
Yeah. Yeah. If you want to vote for another game that could end up 6-3, Raiders Saints would probably be it. Yeah. But I'll take Eagles over the Cowboys. Upset. Here's where we get interesting. The Chargers struggle against the Patriots, especially Justin Herbert. He normally does.
And it's in New
A lot of that was under
England.
Bill Belichick. Yeah. I mean, he struggled against them even out in L.A. That was under Bill Belichick. A little bit different. But I do think the Patriots are playing. I mean, they showed last week, like, they took Buffalo to the limit. I think they might be able to build off of that and make it tough on the Chargers. What do I want? Do I want to pick that one confidently? If I don't pick that one, you know what? I'll take that one. I'll take the Patriots to upset the Chargers.
Because you wouldn't pick the Giants to beat the Colts. And you wouldn't pick the Cowboys to beat the Eagles. Mm-hmm. And I know you're not picking the Jets to beat anything.
The Browns to beat the Dolphins. Yeah, so it's either that or I take the Broncos over the Bengals. But like I said, I kind of secretly want the Bengals to win that one to make some intrigue. So I'll take my Patriots over the Chargers. Which would mean probably another good game from Drake May. Which I'm not mad at. All right. Here we go. The segment that we've been building up to, that we've been definitely excited for. So because it is holiday season, we're just coming off of Christmas, which I guess I should probably say hopefully you all enjoyed your Christmas. Got New Year's coming up. Jory and I put together a list of sports naughty nice list. And with the naughty list, the second part is New Year's resolutions for those to potentially make themselves a little bit better next season. Well, next year around this time. So Jory, feel free to kick us off with guess your nice list.
My nice.
Or do we start naughty and then nice? No, naughty is the more creative one, so we'll start with the nice list and then we'll do naughty list.
Hold on. I can't find my nice list. Okay. I'm going to start with my nice list. The first one, I'm going to give the Celtics credit. All year, even though part of last season went into this season, as it always does, they've played a really great brand of basketball. They've given me... They've been such a joy to watch. And I love how they're kind of taking on that Missoula type of attitude, and they're kind of being a little sassy now and a little snippy. I love it.
Yeah.
So for not underwhelming, they get on a nice list. Another heartwarming story. Jarvis Brownlee Jr., one of my rookie cornerbacks. He went somewhere out to eat in Nashville. He had paid the lady, and he had tipped her like an extra $200 for the holidays. For making my heart warm, you get put on the nice list.
Yeah.
The Lions and the Vikings. I don't know who is the brain of all of these celebrations, but thank you for making football entertaining. I mean, of course, you can have as much fun as you want if you're running through people like laxatives. You can have as much fun as you want. You can do as many TikToks as a dance. You can do as many movie handshakes as you want. I like their creativity, and it makes the NFL fun. I'm glad that refs let them be them. Because I remember growing up, it was not like that.
Mm-hmm.
The next one is also the last one I had four. I'm going to give credit to the Houston Rockets and the Detroit Pistons. I thought the Pistons were going to be in another 3 to 4 year rebuild. They're about ready to start turning it around. Get credit to their coach. Credit to the talent that they have. I like it. Now the Rockets. Now, most people with the Rockets should have expected this. I saw how they ended last season. And I'm like, yeah, they're going to be way better than next season than they are like this right now. And how Ime has them playing. Next list. Honorable mention, I would give my own head coach his nod, JJ. He's doing a good job. The wins, I know it's sometimes he on the court and he looks like are we what? It's like I see the gears grinding in his head.
Mm-hmm.
I love what he's been able to do with this depleted roster that we have. I like it. I just need my players to be more consistent.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'll let you go with your nice list for next before we get into the interesting part.
Okay. We can do that. So for me, nice list. I went first, Simone Biles. I thought the redemption story from her last Olympics, having the mental health issues and kind of pulling out, and then coming back this previous Olympics and showing the dominance and the greatness for why, I guess before the last one, why she was seen as the greatest gymnast that a lot of people had seen. So shout out to her for that. And also you see her at NFL games. She supports her, her man, and shout out to her for that. Next, I got Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, and I have them on a nice list because they have helped grow the WNBA, which is a good thing. Was it all good? No, which I actually will get to a little later. But look, the fact that they are kind of starting this little run of college superstars that are preparing to get into the WNBA. Hey, Bella, that are coming into the WNBA in the next few years. I gotta give them credit for that. So put them on the nice list as well. Hopefully they can continue to grow the sport. Next, I have Bill Belichick, Mike Vick, and Deshaun Jackson. You might be wondering why those three link together. Those three are taking jobs at the college level. Bill's going to be at North Carolina. Mike Vick's going to be at Norfolk State. And Deshaun Jackson, I don't know if it's official yet, but Delaware State looks like where he's going to be the head coach. And I love seeing these guys who had their NFL careers going down the collegiate level to help the college kids, prepare better for the NFL level. And obviously there's more of them, Dion was an NFL player who's now at the college level. Eddie George is at a HBCU. So you look all around, like you see kind of the influence. I think that only helps the college game. I did want to highlight them because, North Carolina is not necessarily a big job, but Belichick decided to go there. Norfolk State, not a big job. Mike Vick's there. We know Mike Vick has a lot of connections to the Virginia area. And Deshaun Jackson, Delaware State, shout out to them. Fourth one, I'm going to the NCAA. Thank you for finally expanding the playoff. If you had done this before, the college landscape would be a lot different, but we're here now. Fine. That I'll put them on the nice list for that. All right. Now the naughty list. Jory, back to you.
Muted. First things first. Mr. Discount Double Fraud and Mr. Ayahuasca and Caterpillars himself. Aaron Rodgers.
Yes.
If he saw the word accountability, this man would sneeze. All year, we've dealt with manipulative, asinine BS that culminated into backwards comments on Pat McAfee's show. And then you decided to sell your coach out and not show up to mandatory minicamp, and then get your panties in a twist when he said that it wasn't excused because it wasn't excused. What did you expect for him to say, Aaron? Like, what? And then this whole year, you've been saying these little comments, little manipulative comments here and there. You got your coach fired because you wanted to play piss poor at the beginning of the year. And then you want to act like you want to tell the Jets how to run their organization through Pat McAfee show. Sir. And then you call yourself an enigma. Get a grip of reality. Stop sniffing ayahuasca and other hallucinogens. Get a grip on reality. You are not the solution. You are the problem. Stop walking around thinking that you're not stinking it up. You are. And for his New Year's resolution, like I said, stop being a miserable, unlikable asshat. Go touch grass. Now, he's had a very loud 2024. Loud. And I'm not saying, when I mean loud, I'm not trying to be literal. I'm like, you've heard his name at least once a week. At least once a week. For 52 weeks. And the one thing about Micah Parsons that makes me mad is he don't know when to shut up. You talk too much.
Yep.
You talk way too much. You need to realize that it is okay that not everything needs to be said. It is okay to leave the public in the dark. It is okay that if you don't know what you're talking about, that you can keep your mouth closed. It is okay. It's okay to be quiet, bro. I know it's hard. It is hard to be quiet, but it's okay to shut up. And then when you provide, another thing about Mikey that just pisses me off that he does, he speaks without providing ample enough context. And then when people make the right interpretation, he gets mad at them. It's the media's fault. Did anybody ask you what you said? Is it the media's fault that you said what you said about Mike McCarthy and Zach Martin? Is it the media's fault that you said that it wasn't over until the fat lady sang, and then the fat lady sang about 2 weeks later? Is it really the media's fault that all while you were hurt, you couldn't just take your injury in silence and heal and rehab and all of that in silence? You kept talking. You gave the media something to interpret and to talk about, and now that you didn't provide the right context, it's everybody else's fault but yours. You need to shut up. You need to be quiet. And that's literally his New Year's resolution. Like, stop the gaslighting. Be quiet, talk less, and you won't have such a loud 2025. Next, I have the Philadelphia Eagles. The dysfunction. How does anybody do anything under that type of dysfunction where things are being said where it's more like a soap opera or a high school than it is a professionally run professional football team. Between Sirianni doing Sirianni stuff, Jalen being passive aggressive, AJ Brown being childish, Brandon Graham talking too much. It's a dysfunction.
Mm-hmm.
And this team is too talented for this level of dysfunction. Like, and my resolution to them is get a plethora of boxing gloves and some headgear and fight it out. I don't care. Or go to a group therapy session. Invest into a group therapy session. Mm-hmm. Hide AJ Brown's phone when he's upset. Tell Sirianni to cut that BS out and to grow up. Mm-hmm. And tell Jalen to stop being passive aggressive. They need to get couples therapy, all of them. And back to Micah, he needs to reprioritize his podcast. The fact that your nickname is Podcast Parsons and you're supposed to be the next coming of LT, mm-hmm. and now we just know you as Podcast Parsons says a lot. You talk a lot. He talks a lot for somebody when in certain games that he only gets one hit, one tackle, mm-hmm. and is running for his life because people run at him because they know he can't stop the run.
Yep.
And my last but not least, and I didn't want to be specific when I said this because I didn't want to. It's a problem. NFL referees. Mm-hmm. You have done everything possible to get on my you-know-what list. Everything possible. And it's not just because of my team is the way that it is. It's other teams that get caught with these little bogus flags, and then you argue with the refs, and then next thing you know, you get 5 more flags thrown in your direction for no reason. It's bullcrap. Let's not bring this into 2025. The NFL actually needs to do something about it because now the fans are seeing that, okay, so if you yell at a ref, you can expect 3 to 4 extra flags attached to it. Especially when they're calling some BS that don't need to be called, i.e. that flag versus the Vikings with Jarvis Brownlee. That was not targeting. That was not unnecessary roughness. That was shoulder to chest, you blind bastard.
Yeah.
No, it's a flag party. And they've done nothing but tick me off. And their New Year's mm-hmm. resolution from me is going to be simple. Get a grip. Be a professional. Stop letting personal indifferences dictate how you call a game. Stop abusing your power from the most asinine reason. You make the product on the field bad when you do petty BS like this. Stop toying with teams' livelihoods and the fans' emotions. Get a grip over yourselves. You're not that important to try to make yourselves be important. Cut that crap out. Honorable mentions, my Lakers. Look, I'm not going to get into that type of emotions right now. Ravens fans, Yankees fans, they've been ticking me off all year with their overinflated opinions about their team. And Texans fans, most of them. Calm down. I know you're mad about Aziz. And you're still mad about the Oilers jerseys. Y'all got y'all's own cool jerseys. Y'all got them red joints. Them things fire. Quit crying about the Oilers jersey. Yeah. They're going to do it on week 18, yeah. I bet you. Just open up Twitter.
Yeah. Yes. They absolutely
Because that's exactly when we're wearing them. They're gonna be mad.
You're right. And part of that, yeah, because they were the Houston Oilers, you're the Houston Texans, but that doesn't matter when the Oilers went off, branched out, and became what the Titans are before the Texans came back in. So
They became the Tennessee
Houston,
Oilers. Be quiet.
right? So it's like Houston, like you said, create your own, history and everything like that. Like I said, the red jerseys are dope. Like, just give up the Oiler fight
And
because
quit attacking
it
Trevor
doesn't make sense.
Lawrence.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, that was a good naughty list. We'll say that was a good one. All right, so for me, I want to go NBA media first because this self-sabotage that they're doing, where they complain about the style of play and that's all they complain about, and then now are wondering why ratings are down. Although we saw on Christmas Day the NBA outperformed the NFL by leaps and bounds, but the media, as we are in the social media age, they have a lot of power in the way that
I thought it was flipped.
the league is viewed. No, the NBA outperformed the NFL on Christmas Day.
No.
I think it was by like a good margin. And I just feel like they need to do a better job. One, creating storylines that are not LeBron James centric. Create storylines that's not, oh, the league is so much trouble when LeBron, Steph Curry, and KD leave. They wouldn't be if you would highlight some of these young players. Talk about a Houston Rockets team that's second in the West. I honestly couldn't tell you the last time First Take, Colin Cowherd, or any of these shows talked about Houston. Why? You look at Inside the NBA. I think the segments where, like, Ernie will say, tune to NBA TV to watch so-and-so, and Barkley's first thing would be, I don't watch that team. Who watches that team? Oh, that's a terrible game. I'd rather watch hockey. That does not do anything for your brand. Or when he does his who he play for, and it's a player he never knows, and they say, oh, he played for the Pelicans, and he goes, why would I be caught dead watching the Pelicans? Even if that's the way you feel, that cannot be your reasoning every year because it just gives people reasons not to watch the product. And yes, is it a different game than it was in the 80s? Sure. Different than the 90s? Yes. The same way, the way they play in the 90s was different than they did in the 50s and the 60s. This is what every sport goes through. So embrace it for what it is. Yes, you can criticize it, but it cannot be the only way you cover the sport is just criticizing the way that the game is played. That's my thing there. The resolution would be, as I said, highlight new stories. Don't spend your whole playoff run dissing Jason Tatum or a guy in Jaylen Brown who y'all dissed for several years, but then wanted to turn around and be fans of his just to throw shade at Jason Tatum. Highlight Jason Tatum.
Cough, cough.
Kendrick Perkins is worse at this. Yes. And they did it with Anthony Edwards. You can continue that. But you got guys like Tyrese Maxey. Highlight him sometimes. It's not just about Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid is, to be honest with you, kind of old news for me. Tyrese Maxey is a player that you could definitely build some coverage around. Do more of that, and I guarantee you the ratings will go up. And stop crying about the amount of threes that are shot. Warriors won shooting a lot of threes. Celtics literally just won shooting a lot of threes. If you do it correctly and build your team correct for it, you can win in this league. Problem is these bad teams that shoot a lot of threes. Fine. Put pressure on these front offices for those teams to either build the team correctly or go about it a different way. But whatever. I can talk about that one forever. Next one. Jason Whitlock. I am so sick of this dude. So him peddling his stupidity from his basement because he couldn't keep his job at ESPN, couldn't keep his job at Fox Sports, that now he's yelling into a microphone on some random website or whatever. It seems like whenever you're ready to forget about him, he pops up with something stupid. I think the latest one, I don't even want to necessarily, promote what his latest stupidity was, but
It was something either sexist, racist, or ignorant. You know that.
yeah, that's basically all he is right now. He was kind of like this on ESPN. He was race baiting, but there it seemed like he was trying to kind of promote diversity, where now all of a sudden he's not. Everything is, black and white. Black doesn't do this, all that kind of stuff. So I am done with Jason Whitlock. I've been done with him, but my resolution is go away. Some things aren't worth fixing. I don't need to make Jason Whitlock look better in the public eye because he doesn't deserve it at this point. So he can literally unplug the microphone, throw the computer out the window, and just scream at his TV in his living room where nobody else can hear it. We would all be better for it. Third, naughty list. Casual WNBA fans that were brought in by Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. I gave y'all some props for joining the league and showing support for your two players. Problem was y'all went way too far last season. Overshadowed the whole season for these two players that didn't even factor into the championship. Like I said, you can be fans of Caitlin Clark, you can be fans of Angel Reese. I don't really have a problem with that. I'm cool with that. Now expand your knowledge. Quit with the ignorance and pumping up Caitlin Clark all over the place. That's the only thing you're doing, or pumping up Angel Reese. Now that you are within the WNBA realm of fandom, start watching Breanna Stewart, A'ja Wilson, Arike Gumbawale. There's a lot of good talent in the WNBA, and not just individuals. The Liberty, the Aces, all these teams that play good basketball. Now turn your attention to them and learn something else about the league. That will help the league a lot more than another season of every story just being Caitlin Clark's the greatest this. Angel Reese, well, a lot of them were like, Angel Reese is no good because of this. Like, you can still have those arguments or whatever, but it cannot be on a daily level next season. Cannot.
Mm-mm.
All right, last one. I gave the NCAA credit for expanding the playoff. I'm putting them on the naughty list as well for them and their committee issue. College basketball has this problem as well. It's not as big of a problem in college basketball because you got 68 teams. At a certain point, there's not really much you can say that makes you look bad. But when they make decisions that they do, and they bring out this committee member to speak on TV who does nothing but add to the conspiracy or adds to the skepticism of what they're really doing behind closed doors, I think that's a problem. So for next season, now that this is the first year of the expanded playoff, I think committee needs to kind of establish what they look for each week when they go behind closed doors so that these schools have a better idea of what they need to do to make themselves look better in front of the committee. And if they can't do that, then look, the human element of the committee, I do think brings a lot of intrigue. But if they continue to make it so that we don't know what they're looking for, then dust off those BCS computers again, put whatever computations into their algorithm, let us all know what the computer is looking for, and then move forward with this expanded playoff with computers making decisions. Like, if they want the human element to be there, then come out with a set criteria. If you care about strength of schedule, then care about it all the way through. If you care about their strength of victory, care about that all the way through. It can't be strength of schedule for this one, strength of victory for that one. This one, it's optics of them being on the field. Like, make it simple for the fools, for the idiots. You got those books, whatever for dummies. Make the college football playoff for dummies. Just keep it very simple. That's my only thing. Well, there's other issues with the NCAA, but there's way too many to name. Like, actually act like a governing body. I know it's tough in college football with 200 something schools. You can't regulate everybody's schedule, but try to make it a little bit more uniform next year. That's all I'll say. And 12 is fine. I keep saying 16 is the perfect number. That's all I'll say for the NCAA. All right.
Keep it at 12.
Oh, you said keep it at 12? I mean,
yeah, because they messed up with this 12.
Yes, that's true. And I only say that because I thought before when they were talking about Senate playoff, I always said 16 was a good number. That's why I'm saying it now. I mean, the level below them has 24. And they've made it work for several years with that structure. But we'll take the 12 for what it is and enjoy it. Just, yeah, have better explanations for why you make the decisions that you do. That's my main thing going into next year. All right.
I agree.
Okay. So that is the last topic that we had. Obviously, passion and precision with myself and Jory. We do have a blog. We have a new site on WordPress. We still have the Tumblr site as well, but make sure you go over there and check out articles because we do have some of them that are up there, and there will be more to come. So make sure you go over there. The WordPress, I believe, link is in the description. So go there and show some love. Greatly appreciate it. I think I have a couple of articles I'm working on that I'm hoping to get out there next few days. I know Jory's got some stuff in the works as well. Who knows? Bella may turn up with a blog post of her own on the site. Who knows? I mean,
really?
I mean, look, it's a fitting way to kind of close out the show. Bella making a camera appearance. So appreciate, for real, appreciate all of you that tuned in. Love the energy that you guys brought in. And hopefully you come back next week. Make sure you do next week, Friday, for another edition of Passion and Precision. Jory, if there's anything you want to add before we get out of here, feel free to do so.
Stay tuned tomorrow for another episode of Jory Sports Stories, audio and video. Hey, Bella. Yeah.
Okay. Like I said, I'm working on an NBA article now. I think I have a NFL article I've been thinking about putting out there as well. So look out for that. And over on my channel, Chomping at the Bit. Been a while since I've actually done a video over there, but those will pick back up here soon. You can find me other places here on Integrity as well as Jory. So make sure you like, subscribe, follow Integrity Sports Network. Turn on the notification bell so that when we do go live, you are notified, and it's easier for you to keep up with what we have going on here on the network. All right, I think I got everything covered. So you all enjoy the rest of your evening, enjoy your weekend, enjoy the football, college and NFL, enjoy the basketball, just enjoy sports on a whole, because we know it's a great distraction from everyday life. Also, this holiday season, make sure you check in with those that you love. Let them know you do. Could make somebody's day. And we're on the road to 2025, which I do think will be a big year for Passion and Precision. So for myself, Jory, and Bella, as you just saw, we're out of here. Good night. See you all next week. All right.
She's bad.